Over the past 20 years, China has built the largest high-speed rail network on Earth, and no other country even comes close. A system so massive it now connects almost the entire country, and it has completely transformed how over 1 billion people travel on a daily basis. But how did China build it so quickly? Why is it so successful? Why is it not only cheaper but better than flying? And what makes it different from high-speed rail systems anywhere else in the world? Today, I will introduce you to high-speed rail in China and prepare to be amazed. Imagine boarding a Eurostar train in London in the morning and stepping off in Barcelona at lunchtime, ready for some tapas and a visit to La Sagrada Familia that afternoon. Or boarding an Amtrak Acela after work in New York and meeting your friends for a late dinner in Chicago that evening. Well, in China, this is reality. This sleek, modern Fuxing CR400 ultra-high-speed train will whisk you over 1,300 kilometers from historic Beijing to stunning Shanghai in under 4 hours and 20 minutes. There is much more legroom, no turbulence, and far lower carbon emissions. Just smooth, quiet and comfortable travel at 350 km per hour. That's 217 miles per hour pretty much the whole way, and they make between 40 and 60 round trips every day of the year. A good value, fast, clean, comfortable and seamless travel experience. That's what all the fuss is about. The Chinese legacy railway network is comprehensive but slow. Back in 1993, commercial train operating speeds in the country averaged just 48 km per hour. Much of it is still used to operate loco-hauled classic sleeper and long-distance day trains, but even that is changing now, with some of these routes that used to take 40 to 50 hours now able to be completed by high-speed train in just 7 or 8, but that's for another video. China's high-speed rail system is by far the largest in the world, and most amazingly, none of it existed 20 years ago. It has recently passed 50,000 kilometers in total length, and now accounts for over 2/3 of all the world's high-speed railway lines. That's enough track to circle the Earth and then go 1/4 of the way back round again. Spain is in second position for total network length, but they only have around 4,000 kilometers of railway lines rated at above 200 kilometers per hour, the internationally accepted definition of what counts as high-speed rail. All trains in the system are run by China Railway, the state-owned operator, and unlike many countries where high-speed rail is limited to just a few key routes, China has built an entire national network. It connects every mainland Chinese province and Hong Kong and nearly every major city in China, but they aren't anywhere near finished. For millions of people, trains have replaced domestic flights entirely. In most cases, travelling by train on journeys of up to 6 hours is now faster in overall time than flying, especially once you factor in airport transfers, security and waiting time. China operates the fastest regular service trains in the world at speeds of up to 350 km per hour. That means journeys that once took multiple hours can now be completed in a fraction of the time. For example, Beijing to Shanghai used to take over 10 hours by classic train, but can now be completed in under 4 hours and 20 minutes. And the experience feels very different from air travel. The ride is remarkably smooth and quiet. Nearly all trains feature comfortable seating which can be rotated to face the direction of travel, large tray tables, power outlets, digital displays and onboard food service. Most newer train sets also offer free Wi-Fi. Business class on some trains even includes lie-flat seats in private cabins. If you look at a Chinese railway station departure board, you'll notice a letter before the train number. These letters tell you what type of train you will be taking. The fastest trains are called G trains, short for Gaosu, meaning high speed in Mandarin. These are the flagship bullet trains, operating at up to 350 km per hour, with many services using a variant of the Chinese-built Fuxing CR400 train set on dedicated high-speed lines. Then there are D trains. These are slightly slower long-distance trains which operate at up to 250 km per hour. Some D trains also run overnight sleeper services between major cities. Finally, there are sea trains. These are intercity trains designed for shorter regional routes, connecting nearby cities in large metropolitan areas. Most run at between 160 and 200 km per hour, but some are capable of 250 km per hour. Despite the differences in speed and therefore travel time, most of these trains look very similar on the inside. They're modern, clean, and designed for efficiency. One of the most remarkable things about China's high-speed rail system is how quickly it was built. The country's first purpose-built high-speed rail line opened in 2008, in time for the Beijing Olympics that year. Just under 20 years later, China has created a network that is the envy of the world. For every 3 kilometers of total high-speed railway line, 2 kilometers of it is in China. The expansion accelerated dramatically in the 2010s when the Chinese government invested heavily in infrastructure as part of a national stimulus program. Thousands of kilometers of new lines have been built every year since. Entire stations, bridges, tunnels and viaducts appeared at astonishing speed. China also standardised much of its construction process. Many lines use ballastless concrete track instead of traditional gravel rail beds, reducing maintenance and improving ride quality and safety at high speeds. The dream was a network engineered for frequency, reliability and scale, and they certainly have achieved that. Nearly all of China's high-speed trains, and indeed most of the world's, are electric multiple units, also known as EMUs. Unlike traditional locomotives, their power is distributed with traction motors spread throughout the train's wheelsets, rather than being pushed or pulled from the ends of the train. This allows for faster acceleration, smoother rides, and better efficiency. Early Chinese high-speed trains were based on imported models and shared technology agreements from countries like Japan, Italy, France, and Germany. If you want to see a lookalike Japanese Shinkansen run alongside a doppelganger German ICE-3 and a faux Italian Frecciarossa, you can in China. But over time, CRRC has developed its own models, and today the most famous train family is the Fuxing series, meaning rejuvenation. These CR200, 300 and 400 trains were developed largely using homegrown technology, and they have become symbols of the country's engineering ambitions and prowess. Later on in 2026, the next-gen Fuxing CR450 is planned to enter regular service, initially between Chengdu and Chongqing with an operational speed of 400 km per hour. Crazy! Using China's high-speed rail system can feel incredibly complicated and futuristic. I was certainly daunted when I first came in 2022, but 4 years and 7 visits later, I don't find it that different from using other high-speed railway networks in the world now. Apart from the fact it is very punctual and super clean, even more so than Japan in both respects in my personal experience. Spain is the most similar to China, as both require a pre-departure body X-ray and bag metal detector security check. Although this is not as stringent as at an airport, liquids are allowed. I have never had anything confiscated, but have sometimes been made to sample my drinks or have my deodorant inspected. China Railway tickets go on sale 15 days before travel and must be booked digitally through websites or apps like the official China Railway 12306 or third-party resellers such as Trip.com. The latter is much easier for first-timers as it is more user-friendly and accepts most international credit and debit cards. You can also pre-book tickets up to 2 months in advance, and Trip will buy them for you as soon as they go on sale. Be aware that all tickets are linked electronically to your passport, so you need the original document to pass the checks at the station entry or gate line. Chinese railway stations themselves are enormous, super impressive and much more like an airport terminal than a railway station. And they have to be. Many of them handle hundreds of thousands of passengers every single day. They all have a good selection of shops and food outlets, including many Western brands that you may be familiar with. During major holidays like Lunar New Year, the network becomes the backbone of the world's largest annual human migration. Hundreds of millions of journeys take place over just a few weeks, so book early or travel at a different time, as most trains will sell out shortly after the booking horizon opens. Without high-speed rail, moving that many people would be almost impossible. There are 5 classes of travel on board Chinese high-speed trains. In order from the cheapest to the most expensive, they are second, first, VIP, premium first, and business. Yes, business class is the top tier in contrast to what you would find on a plane. All trains have second and first class seating, with most also having business class. Second class is in a 3+2 layout. First is 2+2, and business is in a 2+1 configuration. Business class comes in a few different styles, but by far the best one features these closing door suites with fully lie-flat beds. Premium first class is also in a 2+2 layout but with large reclining seats. This currently only operates on some upgraded Fuxing CR400 trains on the Beijing to Shanghai route, although this will be rolled out to more routes over time. VIP is also fairly uncommon, only being found on certain G and D trains. It is basically the same as first class, but in a 2+1 configuration, usually in the nose of the train where it is narrower. All classes except second come with some form of refreshments and snacks, with business class also offering a complimentary meal service on longer routes. Second class standing tickets can also be bought if all seats are reserved. These are not available in any other classes though. China's rail network hasn't just changed transport, it's changed the geography of the country itself. Cities that once felt remote are now connected to major economic centres in just a few hours. Tourism has grown, business travel has become easier, and regional economies have become more interconnected. High-speed rail has also helped reduce domestic air travel on nearly every major route. For many travellers, trains are now the default option, and compared to flying, rail travel produces far lower carbon emissions per passenger. But despite its success, the system also faces criticism, some valid, some not so much. Building tens of thousands of kilometres of railway is extremely expensive. Some analysts have questioned whether certain routes, especially in less populated regions, will ever be financially profitable. China Railway has also accumulated significant debt during the network's rapid expansion, and while many lines are heavily used, others see much lower passenger numbers outside peak travel periods, with many at less than 20% occupancy. Still, supporters argue that the system provides broader long-term economic and social benefits beyond ticket revenue alone, and I agree. It is a public service after all, fortunately not required to make profits. For China, high-speed rail is not just transportation infrastructure, it's a strategic national project. In just 2 decades, China has transformed rail travel on a scale the world has never seen before. What began as a small project on the East Coast has evolved into a vast nationwide transportation system carrying billions of passengers every year. And expansion is still continuing. New lines, faster trains, longer underwater tunnels, higher bridges and next generation technologies are already being developed. Whether viewed as an engineering marvel, an economic tool, or a system of modern China, the country's high-speed rail system has become one of the defining infrastructure projects of the 21st century, and this is only the beginning. If you enjoyed this introduction to China's high-speed railways, be sure to subscribe because we've got many more train adventures in China and all across Asia coming very soon. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.